Hello, let's take a look at your MT4 LT3 seminar. Before you start, do this first 6 questions and hopefully they'll be kind of self-checking. And what we're going to be looking at today is our third type of basic transformation, which is rotations. And we're going to rotate them about a point that's not the origin. And so we're going to look at that algebraically. In middle school, you might have done rotations where you just took your protractor, you measured the angle, and you rotated it. And that's good. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at this algebraically and do the same rotation. First off, remember when you do a rotation, counterclockwise is positive. Okay, because look, when we do our coordinate plane, notice it goes 1, 2, 3, and 4. It goes counterclockwise is positive. So if you're told to rotate something, a positive number would be counterclockwise, a negative number would be clockwise. A lot of times they'll just tell you, clockwise or counterclockwise. So here we have an example here. And you should memorize these because we use them so often. I just actually physically turn your sheet and then you can see it. But like I said, we're going to look at this algebraically. So I've got this triangle here. I've graphed it for you. Rather than rotating it around the origin, we're going to rotate it around the point -5, 3. Well, when I say that, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of cheat. I'm going to move that rotation, my center, to 0, 0, which means I'm going to move all of my points that same distance and direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my point A. Let's write this down. So point A is at -8, 5. Point B is at -6, 9. And point C is at -3, 6. What I'm going to do with each of those points is I'm going to move it to the right 5 and down 3. Because that's what I did with my point. My point went to the right 5 and down 3. So 8 plus 5 is 13. 5 minus 3 is 2. -6 plus 5 is -1. And 9 minus 3 is 6. -3 plus 5 is 2. And 6 minus 3 is 3. Next, I'm going to do my 180-degree rotation. Now, when you do your 180-degree rotation, notice we just make the coordinates the opposite, -x, -y. So then, by the way, it wasn't 13, was it? I just noticed that. Because it was -8. -8 plus 5 is -3. Sorry about that. +3. Geez. No, -3. Thinking ahead of myself. -8 plus 5 is -3. Wow. Okay, so it becomes 3 and -2. Becomes 1 and -6. And then it becomes 2, or -2, and negative 3. Then I'm going to undo that original transformation. I got to move it back to the center. So then I'm going to do negative 5 and positive 3, provided I can add and subtract like I'm supposed to. So 3 minus 5 is negative 2 and 1. 1 minus 5 is negative 4 and negative 3. And then negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7. And negative 3 plus 3 is 0. And this is A primed, B primed, and C primed. Should put my A primed right there. Because that's actually just our single transformation. We just did those others algebraically to get them to add up. So when you do a rotation around a point, first we move that point to the center. So I take my point, I'm going to move it to the center. Then you do your rotation, by how many ever degrees, and we're going to do 90, 180, 270. And then we undo that translation. And that's what you do for a rotation around a point.